I remember that night like it was carved into my memory, probably because I wasn't even supposed to be there. Emily had insisted she'd catch a ride home with her friends and that I didn't need to worry. But there was a flicker in her voice, a brief pause between her words that felt strange after 8 years together. I knew her tone as intimately as I knew my own reflection. So instead of accepting her reassurance, I grabbed my keys and drove into the cold November night. The party was at a house on the outskirts of town. One of those sleek, modern homes that look expensive but feel temporary, like nobody really called it home. Music thumped carelessly from open windows. I parked across the street, my headlights cutting through the swirl of fallen leaves. I told myself I'd just wait, make sure she got home safely, and leave before she even noticed me. But then I saw her car in the driveway. Her jacket sat inside, but she was nowhere in sight. I stepped out, locking my own car behind me, feeling foolish for being here. I imagined her later teasing me for being overprotective. As I approached the house, something drew my attention. A light flickered from an upstairs room. The curtains were half drawn, silhouettes moving behind them, the bass from the party below shaking the walls. But that upstairs light held me like a magnet, pulling me forward. My chest tightened as I climbed the steps. I had no idea what I expected. Maybe Emily dancing, maybe nothing at all. Curiosity mingled with fear is a cruel companion. Inside, the air was thick with perfume and sweat. Strangers brushed past me, drinks in hand, indifferent to my presence. I called her name once, but the noise swallowed my voice. Then something on the counter caught my eye, her phone buzzing with new messages. I shouldn't have looked, but when the screen lit up, the name Mark Redart appeared. My stomach dropped. Mark, her ex, the one she had called a college mistake, the one she claimed she hadn't spoken to in years. I could have walked away, pretended I hadn't seen it, but something inside me snapped. Not in anger, but in sudden realization. I didn't trust her anymore. Maybe I hadn't for a while. The stairs creaked under my steps, my breathing heavy. The music faded behind me, replaced by whispers. Then her laugh, familiar, the laugh that used to fill our kitchen when I burnt breakfast. At the end of the hall, a door stood cracked open just enough for me to see. I didn't want to, but I did. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, heels off, hair loose around her shoulders. Mark was too close, his hand brushing hers as he spoke. She smiled. Not nervously, not awkwardly, but softly, naturally. A smile I hadn't seen in months. My body went numb. My mind scrambled, trying to rationalize, but my heart already knew. I didn't speak. I just turned and left. Outside, the cold air hit me like a slap. I walked to my car like a ghost, hands trembling, chest hollow. I sat behind the wheel, staring at the house, at the window where her silhouette still moved. Every argument, every apology that had never truly healed replayed in my mind. Love doesn't vanish suddenly. It decays quietly beneath polite smiles and tiny silences. I drove through the endless night. My phone buzzed once, her name flashing. I didn't answer. Not that night. Not ever again. But it wasn't over. A week later, while packing her things, I uncovered something that reshaped everything I thought I knew. It was Wednesday. The house was unbearably silent, the kind of stillness that hums in your ears. Her perfume lingered faintly on the couch. I began with her books, the ones she loved but never finished, trying not to recall reading their endings just to make her smile. Then I opened a drawer by her bed and found a small wooden box, tucked beneath scarves like a secret. My first instinct was to close it, respect her privacy. But I couldn't, not after that night. Inside were old photographs, not of us, but of her with someone else. Not Mark, someone older, unfamiliar. The images weren't explicitly romantic, but they weren't innocent either. In one, his arm rested on her shoulders. In another, she laughed that same carefree laugh from the party. At the bottom of the box lay a sealed envelope addressed to me. My chest tightened as I opened it. Lucas, it began. If you're reading this, it means you've seen more than I ever intended. I need to tell you about my past, something I thought I had buried long before we met. Her handwriting was steady, almost unnervingly calm. She wrote about the man in the photos, Daniel, her former boss. She was 22, fresh out of college, eager to prove herself. He was twice her age, powerful, manipulative, and knew exactly how to wield it. It wasn't love, she wrote. It was control disguised as affection. She ended it, but the damage lingered. She hadn't told me because she wanted a fresh start, to become someone new. She explained that seeing Mark again wasn't love either. It was about control, about feeling desired rather than used. She asked me to believe it wasn't about replacing me. As I read, the anger that had consumed me slowly faded, replaced by something heavier. Confusion, pity, heartbreak. I hated that I still cared. I hated that her honesty didn't make it easier to hate her. At the end of the letter, one line struck me harder than the rest. You were my safe place, and I broke it. I folded the letter carefully but couldn't put it away. I sat there for hours, thinking about how love can be both shelter and weapon, and how the people we trust most aren't cruel. They're simply broken in ways we cannot mend. That weekend, she came to collect her things. We didn't argue. We didn't cry. She thanked me for packing neatly, and I nodded as though it didn't matter. But before she left, I stopped her. I read the letter aloud. She froze, shoulders tight. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know," I replied, not in forgiveness but in understanding, because I knew what it felt like to live with ghosts you never invited. As she walked out the door, I realized something I should have recognized long ago. I wasn't angry because she betrayed me. I was angry because I had built my life around someone still trying to find herself. That night, I drove aimlessly, the road stretching into darkness. The pain was sharp, raw, but beneath it was something new, a quiet release. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for someone to choose me. When I returned home, I tossed the letter into the fireplace and watched it curl, blacken, and turn to ash. It wasn't revenge. It was closure. And as the last ember faded, I understood a secret she'd hidden wasn't just hers. It was ours. The quiet truth. Sometimes love doesn't end in betrayal.